Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Thursday, January 24th, 2013. Thanks for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures, and the futures are trading lower by about 3 points. Not really much of a decline for the ES futures, which is the S&P 500, but the NASDAQ futures are not so lucky. NASDAQ futures today are trading down significantly. They are lower by 36, make that 37 points at the moment, to 27.22 per contract. Pretty steep decline, all on the back of one company, and it's Apple Inc. Apple took a nosedive after earnings yesterday. Stock is trading around this 465 level. There is some support here, so traders will have to watch for that. But Apple dragging the markets sharply lower, really across the board. A significant fall. I think traders now will have to watch for the 428 level. I know that sounds like a faraway distance, and it is. It probably doesn't get down there. This 465 level seems to be some short-term support. But either way you slice it or dice it, it's going to be around 425, 427, and then it's really down to around the 391 level for Apple. So again, traders, keep that on your radar. Apple right now is the one stock that is taking down the markets, and by all fairness, it lifted the markets, in September and July and August of 2012, and now it's weighing on the NASDAQ a bit. But in all fairness, it has a big weighting both in the S&P 500 and in the NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100. All fairness, it's doing really what it should do. But I think traders could look at 425 potential scalp level if it gets there. Also, 392, 391, somewhere around that 390 level if it gets there as well. After that, it would be all the way down to $318.50, so about that level. And then at 354, which is just a little bit higher than that, you do have a support level too. So there's definitely some levels down below here where you could be interested in Apple. But in the meantime, this is support. You can see this line is drawn in here already. So there is support here at 465, and that's really what Apple is clinging to at the moment. Can it hold it? That remains to be seen. I like when stocks come into levels, not when stocks are teetering on levels. But being that it's such a significant drop, maybe Apple will hold up. Now let's just get back to the overall markets again. I just want to take a look at gold this morning. Gold is trading down about $10 to $1,677 an ounce. If you take a look at the GLD, what you will see is a lower GLD price. The GLD yesterday closed at $163.21. Today it's trading at $161.86. So GLD is lower along with spot gold, and I think they can go lower. So again, we'll have to watch the dollar, obviously, but the dollar hasn't really had all that much effect on the market in this light volume January, and I think the light volume has definitely, kept the dollar somewhat buoyant, and the markets continuing to float up in this euphoric manner. Also, I think traders should watch oil today as well. Oil is trading up 51 cents. It's getting up there again. Light sweet crude now is at $95.75 a barrel. $100 oil is really no good for anyone in the public, and gasoline is also getting up there as well. And we don't talk about that, but look at gasoline prices continuing to rise. Here's a daily chart of the gasoline, and you're going to see that we're not that far off of the October highs of $62 on the UGA. So gasoline is getting pricier at the pump. Oil prices are getting more expensive. We are into the winter season where people will need to heat their homes, the Northeast. And the Midwest is very cold right now. So again, I just don't see the real positives out here. But the market's euphoric over the fiscal cliff, over the kicking the can down the road, and it is what it is. And that's why we use charts, and we don't use what we think. We don't use our brains. We just use what we see on the charts to try to trade this market. All right, let's take a look at the USO this morning. USO right now is trading right around, let's punch it up here so you can see it. Yeah, right around 34.70. Nothing great, nothing terrible. It closed right at 34.60. So right now USO is holding up fine. If dollar drops, expect higher oil prices. I think that's how it's going to play out. If the dollar catches a bid, oil could sell off. Yesterday oil did sell off into the close, but today it's catching a little bit of a bid back up. So again, that's what we're looking at. All right, let's look at some stocks out here. We talked about Apple already. We're going to move right over to Mellanox, MLNX. Not that this is a big high volume name, it's really not, but this stock has really fallen from grace. If you want to take a look at this thing on the daily chart, I mean, this thing was trading up around 120 bucks. Today it is trading down again to around $41. So there is some support here around 41 bucks, but we're there now. If it closes below here, you're going to look at $35. You could see a little bounce there, and then it's really around $30. So I think that's going to be the levels that traders are going to want to watch for. So again, you have some support currently where this is trading at the moment, which is around 41 bucks. But after that, it's going to be down to around 35. I think that's where traders can look for a short-term bounce. After that level, it will be around $30. So again, 35 and then 30 if you're looking for a bounce on Mellanox. But talk about a stock that has completely tumbled and crumbled. This is one from 120 all the way down to 40. It's just a dramatic decline, and it only took about 5 months to occur. So again, that's definitely a weak name, but there could be some opportunity there for a scalp play. All right, let's take a look at what do we have here. We talked about that. Triple M is one in motion today. This stock made a big move to around the $100.50 market. Now coming back in to $99.50. This is where the stock closed yesterday. It has upside to around $102.50, but I would not be a buyer at all, even at this level. So if it gets up to $102.50, I think it could be a fade candidate. You could short it there for a scalp, but do not buy it either way. It is overdone, and it looks like it's already starting to teeter out here a little bit. So be careful with that one. Another one in motion today is Lam Research, LRCX is the ticker symbol. This is a semiconductor equipment maker. Again, this stock closed at $40.41. It's trading right around 40 bucks. I don't think it has much more upside left to it. It looks like the 41.25 level should be pretty good resistance. Let this thing come down. If it really comes down hard, you could see yesterday that it did come down pretty sharply to around 38 bucks. The buy on this is going to be around 35.75. It might be 35.80, somewhere over there. That's where you could look to get long. Other than that, do not touch this thing on the long side until it gets down there. This stock is overdone already, and I just don't think the Apple news is going to help it one bit. Another stock we're looking at, this from my buddy Parm, Amgen. Came out with earnings yesterday after the bell. Parm was right. Earnings for Amgen were yesterday. And you'll see this one is trading right around $83.15, really unchanged. But ultimately, we're going to watch for pattern there. It could be potential bearish setup, but right now, not much you could do with that one. Lockheed Martin is another one that had earnings this morning. This stock is trading up a little bit to $96.51. I would not be a buyer up here. Lockheed Martin could be a fade candidate. Just give me a minute. I want to just make sure these levels are correct. I'm thinking around $98 or so, but I don't even see much more upside from here. So I'd be real careful with Lockheed Martin at the moment. I don't think there's much to do. Western Digital was another one that had earnings. No play there. It's still pretty much in the same range. But this is another stock that is very close to topping out. So I would be very careful here. I don't have a great level for a fade on it, but it does look very close to topping out. Let's take a look at FFIV. I missed this one this morning. Stock closed at $98.80. It's trading up to $104, $103 at the moment. So a decent little pop there for FFIV. It probably has a little bit more upside. I would not get in front of this one. The gap is okay. It's not the strongest in the world I've ever seen, but it's not a weak gap either. It's kind of a little bit on the, has a little bit of strength. So I'd be careful with this one. There's no play that I can see at the moment. Let me see if I do find a good level here quickly. Then there could be some significance there. I didn't look at this one this morning. Normally I have my numbers ready. Yeah, right now you're looking at probably the 110.35, 110.50 level. That would be pretty good resistance. And then more resistance around 114.60. So if it got up there, that would be some pretty decent resistance points. But I don't see that happening, at least not yet, from what I can tell. So then we have SanDisk. I'm not sure what this one has done either. I'm just seeing this come across my board now. Stock's trading at 47.85. It closed at 47.65. So there's not a lot you could do with SanDisk here. Either way, it doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible. It's more of a neutral play. SanDisk has a ton of resistance at $49.50 to $50. But right now, the stock is trading at 47.85. So there's not a lot you could do with it here. So I'd leave that one alone for the most part. There are a lot of other stocks out there making moves today, but there's not a lot that I see. Oh, let's take a look at Netflix. I almost forgot this one, and this is the most important one. All right, so Netflix is surging. I mean, this thing is roaring today. Your level on Netflix is going to be 149.70 to 150. That could be a fade. Okay, so watch Netflix if it gets up there. Could give you a quick fade around 149 to 149.70 to 150. Okay, that is a resistance point. I think it's going to be a good one. So again, that's what I would look at for Netflix at the moment. And I think that concludes everything that we're seeing. Again, NASDAQ futures are just getting slaughtered today, down 40 points. Meanwhile, the S&P futures are only down 250. But either way you slice it or dice it, Apple is the catalyst for that decline. And that's what happens when you're the world's largest stock by market cap. You can drag everything lower. So again, we'll see how this thing plays out. And we'll just see how this market trades today by the closing bell. But you have some levels there. Hopefully you can take advantage of them. Again, all the levels that I give out in the morning video are just scalp levels. They are not for long-term holds or for swing trading. They are only scalp levels. With that said, everybody have a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow. Take care now.